Good evening. Hope everybody is doing well. I was sitting here today and a thought hit me like a ton of bricks. And whether you're in the camp of history repeats itself or you're in the camp of, well, close, it rhymes, I think one thing is for certain, and we are going to have another industrial revolution. Without a doubt. However, when that thought hit me today, I sat there and I picked it apart a bit and just tried to see where it is that we would have to go in order to succeed again as a viable, sustainable nation. As you know, throughout the course of 80s, 90s, and onward, the American people have been getting screwed pretty bad by the corporations. A lot of the work, especially the good-paying jobs, or what were good-paying jobs, were moved out of the country. And our manufacturing fell massively. And this especially happened 80s, 90s, and we suffered greatly. At first, if I recall correctly, we lost a lot of jobs to Mexico. A lot. In fact, one of the companies that I had worked for, it was after I had no longer been with them, but they outsourced to Mexico. A company from here in town. So, for so many years, decades, we have been importing all kinds of goods. Now, not just completed goods, but there's a lot of products that the components are made over, say, China, and they have an assembly plant here in the United States. And so even though the final assembly is done here, the bulk, in all reality, the bulk of the work, making of the components, was made somewhere else. So, as we run into this interesting, whatever the hell you want to call is going on between us and Russia and China, I have a feeling that even best case scenario, that complete ties don't get, and I'm talking about like with trade, don't get cut with China. Even in best case scenario, saying that, I will guarantee you that right now there are people and companies scurrying to try to become more self-sustainable, meaning using U.S. made products. And that in itself is going to spur another industrial revolution. Now, the picture that I used on the thumbnail, that was quite dramatic, okay? I don't think that it's going to come down to that. I hope it doesn't come down to children working. I hope that we've learned something and that we don't backtrack. But I don't put anything past the people that at least are currently in control. So, the other thing is, and I think this is going to look different on many fronts. Number one, again, maybe it's just wishful thinking, but I don't think we're going to see children so much in the workplace like happened before. But a lot of that is because before, in order to complete a task, you needed many hands. Because there wasn't anything such as automation, right? So there was no robotics. There was machinery, but it was very crude machinery, and it lacked a lot of different technological advancements that we have today, especially with digital electronics and, computer software and all that stuff. You can get a very sophisticated piece of equipment today, whereas back then, it was pretty much mechanical with very little reliance on electrical. I don't know exactly when they started using things like photoelectric eyes for switches. I'm gonna guess maybe 50s-ish, something like that. So I could be wrong on that. I'm not positive. This time is going to be much different because not only do we need the industrial part of it, meaning assembly lines and stuff like that, but we're also going to need a technological side of it, because one of the things that obviously many nations have ran into has been chip shortages. And once again, I will guarantee you that there are people right now scurrying in this country, to get manufacturers built here for those chips. I guarantee it. I guarantee people are working feverishly to make that happen. So I think what we're going to see is that form of an industrial revolution. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how all it's going to do, because at the same time that we went through the first industrial revolution, we also went through a bunch of labor struggles. Okay? And I do believe we're going to see that. I mean, we're already there. I do believe we're going to see that rear its head again. Because I really do think that the future, if we don't like nuke each other or anything like that, meaning us and Russia or us and China, if we just continue best case scenario, a path forward, the only way we're going to be able to survive as a nation is to do this, to put ourselves back to work, to bring the business back to the United States. And I think it's going to create that industrial revolution. I think it's going to create an industrial technological revolution. And I think the United States, if it doesn't get hindered by the government, I think we the people could right this ship. I really do. I think if the government would just step the hell out of our way. And I don't mean anarchy or nothing like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about all this nonsense, regulation, permitting, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, okay, let's just dump a bunch of toxic stuff into the streams and oceans. I'm not saying that. But there is a lot of stupid regulatory stuff that actually causes a lot more harm than good. And I do think that we need to take a look at that stuff and make it easier for companies to operate. The sad thing is, then in the U.S., it's like they don't enforce the laws with their pet companies, pet corporations. But boy, the little guy, if the little guy wants to try to build something, they sure slam them with everything they've got. And it kind of makes it hard to build a business, to build a company. And I think that between regulation and taxes and all kinds of other stuff, I think that that's largely why companies just said, hell with it, we're going to go to another country. So it's going to take, we have to fix the whole reason why they left in the first place, and that's because government stepped in and tried to regulate every part of the employer's relationship with the employee. And I'm talking about health insurance mandates and, you name it. And that does nothing but harm. That does nothing but harm. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any type of regulation on companies, but the regulations are in the wrong places. The regulations that are in place now just hurts the little guy. The big guy gets away with it all day long. And much, much worse on top of that. But I think we're going to see a change, and I do think that, again, if we don't nuke each other, if China or Russia doesn't take out our power grid for any length of time, or if we have no major SHTF, then I do see, like I say, another industrial revolution. I see another labor revolution. Again, we're seeing the beginning of that as it is anyway. And I think that we're going to essentially go through that time period very similarly. I can't even say it the second time, because a lot of the different components of it are much the same. I think the largest difference is how we go about it, as far as building, as well as I don't think that they're gonna need to include children or anything like that, because we don't need as many hands, because we can build machines to be able to do what many hands can do, even faster. And so if we don't nuke each other, and if we get people in government that actually gives a damn about this country and us, we can right this ship. And I'm very confident, I'm very hopeful we could right this ship. But we have to have people in leadership that want that to happen, and right now we simply don't. We have leadership right now on both sides of the aisle that wants to burn this country down, but only because there's a different plan that somebody else has, and they feel they're going to benefit greatly by signing us up on this plan. So that's long and short of where we're at. And I don't know where we're headed. And I've said that I don't know how many times over the course of I don't know how long now, because there are so many different things that we have to watch closely. Even today, headlines, nothing's really getting better with the situation with Russia and that. Not at all. North Korea is saying some very concerning things right now. I don't know what's going to happen. But for some odd reason, again, I was sitting here today, and the thought just hit me like a ton of bricks about the industrial revolution. And, it dawned on me, in order for, like I said earlier, in order for us to survive as a nation, we're going to have another one of those. Because we're going to have to, number one, be able to provide ourselves products, and number two, we're going to have decent jobs so that people can make money to buy those products. See, we got way off balance with that because they outsource so many jobs outside of the country. Next thing you know, we've got more jobs, or less jobs than we got people. The only reason why right now there are so many empty jobs is because of the labor revolution that's happening right now, that's already started. So I think if we don't nuke each other, I do think there's a positive future. But it's most certainly going to come with its bumps and bruises, and it's not going to just come for free. We're going to have to fight for it. So, and I don't think that's going to be a choice. I think at some point, I have a feeling it's going to be a matter of survival. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in the nonsense that the government is pulling. They clearly want to kill the dollar. There was a video, by the way, that I don't know. I shared it, so it came out on a post on YouTube. I guess it's under the community tab or whatever. You guys probably know more of what I'm talking about than I do. But it was a video by a channel named Snordster. And years ago, he did a video, and I can't remember the name of it, the actual name of it, because I called it something else. I can't remember. But anyway, it was a really good video. I played it a ton of times. I'd play it again, but they'll nail me because of the music that he's got in the background. And then he's got a video he put out today talking a lot about the U.S. dollar and what they're doing with it. And it's a really incredible video. Let me get you a title of that video real quick. Snordster again is the channel, and the video is the dollar will be dead by 2024. It's a really good video. He is completely on point with his information in it, and it's quite concerning. But even if the powers that be get their way, and there's a great reset, and I get that there's going to be things like universal basic income and all of that if they get their way. But stuff still has to get done. Products still have to get made. And so people are still going to have to work. And I think even if we do face a great reset situation, if you will, and I do believe we are facing one, I think the same thing's going to apply. We're going to have an industrial revolution. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's about really all I had to talk on that. I don't know what else to add to it. Just be ready for it. Be ready for it. Kind of interesting looking at history and then kind of putting those events today and kind of pulling everything apart and looking at how it would be different, the different things and the cause and effects of those things. And I actually spent quite a while today just, as I was doing other things, thinking on that. Quite interesting. Again, if we could get the government out of our hair, I think we could do some incredible stuff. Anyway, have a sip of coffee, go over the web view. Oh, man. Can't wait. Got 70 degree days in the forecast. Can't wait. At the end of the forecast, I might add, but they're there. So, I don't like it any cooler than that. 70's cool. That's fine. I'm good up to about 80. After that, I used to be good when I was younger, but I think the heat got me once good, and ever since then, I'm just not worth a damn in the heat. But I used to love it. Kid you not, as a teenager, I would run around in the middle of summer with a coat on. I'm not kidding. And not because I was cold, but I wasn't hot. It didn't bother me. I wasn't hot. I didn't really sweat much. And ever since that time I got good and hot, that's changed. Now the heat really hits me hard, and I sweat much easier now. I don't know what the deal with that is. Alright. Fun times. Quite a few headlines today, and quite a bit of interesting stuff actually happened, so... I haven't said a word about the convoy. I don't know. I really didn't watch it today I didn't even catch the morning meeting, to be honest. I can tell you that apparently the place they originally had scheduled to be for, I guess, tonight and tomorrow night, that fell through, I guess, kind of last minute. And fortunately, apparently a mayor of a town, and I'm sorry I don't remember the name of the town. Hey, let me not just say that. Let me go get the damn name of the town. Hang on. I'm working on it. There's several People's Convoy groups now, so okay. Let me open that in a new window and pull it into here. I can't see it now. There it is. Okay. So here's the post that came out 2 hours ago. We wanted to give a huge shout out to Shannon Thomason, mayor of Big Spring, Texas, who heard we were in need tonight and in a matter of no time had a parking place for us, porta potties ordered, and calls in to have food trucks to feed us. He even personally met the convoy in his Corvette on the highway and led us to the air park. We are currently at 3200 Ricabaw Drive, hangar address, Big Spring, Texas. Come out and join us. Rally will be tomorrow. Time to be announced. I spoke to Shannon personally, and he told me he ended the emergency mandates in Big Springs because of the People's Convoy. He fully supports us. As Mike Landis always says, when we are on the right side of evil, we will have nothing to worry about. Way to go, Big Springs. Thank you, Mayor. When one door closes, another one always opens, and sometimes that one that opens is even better. So that was good news, and I know Brian had went live for a little while today from his home. He's at home, but he had went live, and I know he spoke with Soup Mama. For those that have been kind of following closely along, you'll know who Soup Mama is, and he also spoke with Trucker G. So, and I did watch those, but I haven't watched anything as far as actual convoy stuff today. So I guess I better update you on that the best I can before we start running through headlines here. But that is the most I know. That is that's awesome of a mayor to step up like that. That's not the first time, by the way. When they were heading to D.C. from Adelanto, California, they had a mayor step up and invite them to their town, and wanted to welcome them to the town and give them a place to stop for a break or what have you. So I think it's cool. I think that shows me that there's at least some of the system that the forefathers intended in place. The problem is our government's got cancer, if you will, and even though there's good cells, there's a lot of bad cells. And unfortunately, those bad cells are in a lot of bad places right now. And, we need to irradiate the government. No, we need to remove the bad ones. And I don't know how easy that's going to be. And the reason why is because largely in this country, when we have elections, people focus on mainly the president. And they largely ignore a lot of the other races going on. And I really think that there's a lot of tomfoolery that happens in those races. I think where the most amount of cheating isn't for the presidency. I think it's for these people in Congress. That's where I think a lot of the BS stuff comes into play, the cheating. Because it's hard for me to fathom that some of these individuals that have been in office for so long, like Pelosi, Feinstein, Schumer, and there's many on both sides of the aisle, McCain, McConnell. I mean, there's a ton, right? I'm just not buying that they keep getting back in. That they're the ones that actually get the majority of the support by the people. I don't believe it. And I think that's how they keep the cards, the deck stacked against us. Because the president is just a figurehead. President's not supposed to be signing all these executive orders and doing all this nonsense on their own like they're some rogue dictator. That's not how it's supposed to operate. Our forefathers never intended that. The power was with us and our votes and those people representing how we felt, or else we wouldn't vote them in. Well, then when you have a corrupt, and by the way, YouTube, I'm not saying nothing about the 2020 election and Trump and all that nonsense, YouTube, so chill out. I think, as I said, that the majority of the problems isn't with the presidency, it's with all these other spots. At least particular ones. California, Chicago, Baltimore, I think that's how we keep getting taken and why we can't get anywhere ahead. There's only one good answer to that, and I believe it's term limits. And I think that Congress should be allowed the same, and not just Congress, by the way. I think this should go for every single position in a public held office, including the courts. Including the courts. And I think that they should be limited to 8 years. Same as the presidency. Now, how you want to break that up, 2 4-year terms, however. But I think there needs to be a solid 8-year term limit. And I think we'd see a lot of changes. But those are just pipe dreams. That's not what they want this country to be, the powers that be, that is. And so the only way we're going to see that is if we make it happen. Plain and simple. If we sit by and do nothing, we are going to be an absolute global government. We pretty much are behind the scenes right now. But this is just going to be just open. And it's going to be a global thing. Not going to be just a few countries. It's going to be the world. I don't know. I do know we've got to take that power away. Anywho. Let's see. Have a few vapes, like I said, I don't know, 10 minutes ago. I started in on a rant. Alright. Orban names Hungarian government's opponents. South Korea responds to Pyongyang's insult. I'm rubber, you're glue. No. Let's see. U.S. dollar at risk of losing dominance, Wall Street Bank warns. No kidding. Results of Hungarian election announced. China deploys army to Shanghai. Baltic state may agree to pay for Russian gas in rubles. Gallery renames Russian painting. I mean, that's it. This is absurd, right? Britain's National Gallery has changed the title of a drawing by French impressionist Edgar Degas since last week. The 1890s pastel and charcoal image is now called Ukrainian Dancers rather than Russian Dancers. Well, take that, Putin. This is ridiculous. It's stupid. It's childish. It's almost like they are teaching humanity to act like children. Kremlin responds to Bucha war crimes claims. Iodine tablets to be issued in EU state. Another major global breadbasket may halt grain exports. I'm telling you, a lot of countries are going to do that. Britain wants Germany to get tougher with Russia, says media. Russia to reap huge profits from energy exports, says media. Elon Musk becomes Twitter's largest shareholder, and I must say that's an absolutely interesting fact. So we'll see what happens from here. I don't know what to think about it, because I can't tell you that I just automatically trust Elon. No, I don't. But still, I can't say I automatically think that is a bad thing by any means. Let's see. Chocolate eggs linked to infection outbreak in Europe. Asian nation's government quits amid economic crisis. Why can't we get that lucky? Why can't we get that lucky? They just all resigned, right? Every one of them just resigned. Russian ambassadors expelled. A top Wall Street banker warns of U.S. economy risks. Russia resumes flights to more than 50 friendly nations. And by the way, there's a whole lot of people in, economy and stuff that's been really screaming. And these aren't people, by the way, that profit off of that, right? These are people that profit off of things going well. And these individuals are screaming that they're not going well. Germany arrests far-right extremist wanted for murder. Merkel reflects on her decision to block Ukraine from NATO. Putin should face war crimes trial for Bucha, says Biden. Russia retaliates against visa restrictions. Poland blasts Germany over stance on Russia. Chocolate company accused of profiting from child labor. Iran blames U.S. for nuclear talks pause. Russian billionaire seeks Israeli citizenship, says media. Germany FM reportedly declares 40 Russian diplomats persona non grata. A number of IS sympathizers inside Israel revealed, says reports. Germany to expel significant number of Russian diplomats. I'm not one of them. Almost entire world population breathing substandard air, says the WHO. Russia to see record capital inflow this year, says reports. China eyes cheap Russian energy, says media. No, you know I'm not Russian because I can't even come remotely close to saying their names. Zelensky visits mass killing site near Kiev. World of Tanks developer leaves Russia and Belarus. Plus, you know what? Not a single day in my life have I ever been as badass as at least what I see Russians. I mean, some of the stories that I've heard about those guys. One I remember, just an article. I'll never forget it. The guy got stabbed multiple times in the back, and the knife was still in his back. And he went to the hospital, and I can't remember the reason why, if it was because they were taking too long or what the reasoning was. But he left and went to the bar. I mean, knife still stuck out in his back, right? And there's lots of stories like that. I'll tell you what, they're tough people, and I respect that, regardless of anything. I respect them as a very tough people, and you know, I got to know a couple people from different places close, Russia included, Russia, Czechoslovakia, or I should say Czech Republic. He would probably slap me if he heard me say Czechoslovakia, but Czech, and I can't remember the other little country there. But individuals that were involved in aviation, namely powered paraglider aviation, incredible people and fun, and oh gosh, they were a trip. They were a real trip. Good guys, really good guys. Hard workers too, every one of them. Yeah, I mean, I've always had a lot of respect for it. I never could understand when I was like in high school and stuff, you know, the propaganda we were basically taught, you know, because Cold War mentality, we were taught to hate Russians. And I can remember in high school saying, no, I refuse. I absolutely refuse to just hate people, because I know damn well that the citizens of the USSR at the time just wanted peace, just wanted to be left alone, wanted to be able to do what they needed to do to survive, and just want to be left alone. That's pretty much all any of us wants as a human being. And I'm not just going to hate somebody else because a government tells me to. That's ridiculous. And so I've always felt that way, and I'm that way about everything and everyone. I'm not going to hate a race or a religion or anything because other people tell me to. That's ridiculous. Anyway, sorry, rambling again. U.S. launches cybersecurity bureau. France to expel many Russian diplomats. EU to send investigators to probe alleged war crimes in Ukraine. Biden wants war crimes trial for Putin. DPRK says we'll have to use nuclear weapons if South Korea mounts preemptive attack, says Kim Yo Jong. Oof. I think that's the first time I've read that name. Yikes. Kim Yo Jong. That's kind of a hard one to do, and I don't know why. Anyway, I think that's the headlines. I don't see anything else. No more, no notifications. I think that's it. Huh. Well, in that case, I'm going to get the hell out of here. And, relax for probably about 15 minutes before I go to bed, because we're just so exciting. No, I mean, what's the point? What's the point of staying up late? We don't watch TV or anything like that, so there's not like some type of television program that we want to watch before we go to bed, or... No, pretty much the same old, you know, wake up in the morning whenever we stir and start another day. So, is what it is. It's, you know what? I had plenty of excitement in my life. I had a whole hell of a lot of excitement in my life. I certainly can't say that I hadn't lived. And so, I definitely can't hang on the porch no more. And this big dog's gotta stay at home on his leash because he can't hang. No, I'll tell you what, I tore the hell out of myself between work and honestly, between work and partying, I tore the hell out of myself. So I'm definitely paying for it today. And, and in every way, I have just tried to kind of calm down and relax in every single way possible, especially mentally, emotionally. The only way that I don't want to calm down and haven't calmed down is spiritually. And so, other than that, I just, I'm wore out. Plain and simple, I'm wore out. So, I enjoy that. I enjoy the peacefulness of going to bed early, just waking up early. I would rather be able to sleep in a little bit more, but I'm not in control of that. But, and then just having a calm day, There's nothing better than peace, in my opinion. So, anyway, I'm going to get out of here, so I quit rambling. And God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. I hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.